Today I want to talk about what exactly happened when I did my healing within those 3 days. Everybody who has seen my testimonial and is part of my group that I'm running now, helping others heal. You have seen the testimonial and you know that I talked about releasing emotions and with basically floods of tears, lots of guidance, what I needed to change about myself and forgive myself. But I wanted to go into detail because I believe by sharing more about what was actually happening to me in those 3 days, I will be able to help more people to pay attention and maybe realize the things that they might need to change about themselves and focus on when they start the healing process. So I just want to say briefly, the first thing that came to my mind after 2 days and nights of meditation when the guidance started coming was you are too hard on yourself. So I was basically shown how critical I've always been of myself, how I always tried to prove to myself and others that I'm good, that I'm worthy, that I can achieve things, that both in my previous career, 2 careers that I had before I became a holistic practitioner, but also in this job as a holistic practitioner, I was always very strict with myself. If I didn't see the results in my clients, I would take it to myself, and I would also often consider myself like I'm not good enough. There must be something wrong with the way I work, because obviously at the beginning when I started my practice, you know, we learn things and sometimes we will get the results, sometimes we won't, and especially with healing, it's like some people, for some people, no matter what sort of treatment you do, they won't see the results. I still had very good success rate. And I was continuously learning about new things, new modalities, doing lots of courses, but I always thought that I was still not good enough and I have to keep working hard and practicing, and I was pushing and efforting. This was shown to me in those 3 days of meditation, and why I believe it's a big issue for many people, including myself, before my healing, is because we are so much driven by this 3D programming that basically since we are born, as soon as we go to school, it's that the whole rat race begins, and we are told that with everything, with grades at school, with the pressure from parents and peers, and it's all about being better than others. And this is how the whole society works. And the reason why most of us believe that only by achieving something we can feel good about ourselves is the key thing that needs to be abolished when we try to do the healing and when we want to change things about our life. So what I discovered, I don't know, it was shown to me, I don't know, it just came to me really in a really powerful way, that really this was just an illusion. All of this rat race and trying to be better than others and trying to prove my worth was just part of this social concept that we all live in as part of this human experience. And the main conclusion that I got to when I was doing my healing was that this is a completely wrong attitude to life. This is a really big misconception about life. We come here as perfect. We come here as source consciousness. We are good enough and more than good enough to start with, to begin with. And what happens later is we obviously kind of living unconsciously, and we we are losing the connection with our true divine nature, and we are thrown into this reality where we have to kind of gain points to feel good about ourselves. Oh, I achieved this and I achieved that, and so I'm able to feel good about myself because the more I achieve, the better I am. And this is such a big mistake that we all make. Really, detaching from this sort of concept is like a major game changer in healing, because on a soul level, we are not supposed to prove anything to anyone. We are not supposed to prove even anything to ourselves. All we really come here for is to have an experience, yes, and grow and learn. But part of this learning process is also to remember that this rat race that happens in society is the wrong concept. And really, by learning and understanding and realizing this, only then can we open up to our true divinity, our true perfection. And because when we come here as babies and we are innocent and beautiful and wonderful, and everybody looks at us with love and admiration, and then we start going backwards as we get older. Instead of feeling good and just be happy with ourselves the way we are told and shown by people and circumstances around that we are not good enough, and that we just have to keep proving to everybody around, including ourselves, that by achieving this or that we will feel good, we will feel worthy. And what I want to say here is that the moment we realize that this striving for perfection and achievement and success is on one hand a good thing, because that's how humanity grows, and obviously we want to create new things, we want to make our experience better. That there's nothing wrong about this, but we should never do this from this perspective of proving something to ourselves or people around us. And all this concept about self-esteem, and so many people suffer from this. Like when I treat people as a holistic practitioner, when I tap into the subconscious minds, the low self-esteem emotion and kind of programming is installed in most people. And this is what drives people to achieve more and more, because not because they want to experience things, not because they want to be creators, but just simply because they want to feel good enough, compared to when they look at other people and they believe that, oh, I'm still not good as this person or that person, I have to keep pushing. And this is where things get really, really complicated. We should never compare ourselves to other people. We all came here to experience our own life, our own path, and the only thing we should be striving for is to be better than we were the day before, but not compare ourselves to others. And better doesn't mean pushing and efforting. It's about just accepting that this is a journey, this is a learning process, this is how life works. But by being so cruel on ourselves and hard, that's so cruel to ourselves and so hard on ourselves. It's like constantly beating yourself up. I'm still not good enough. I'm still, and even vibrationally, when you look at this, when we keep believing that we are not good enough, we are sending out the vibration, I'm not good enough, I'm still not good enough, or I'm a failure, I'm not as good as other people. Any sort of low self-esteem emotions, they will be the core vibrations that you are sending out, and vibrationally, this is what you're going to receive back. So the reality around you is going to show you the reflection of just that. So you will come across situations where you will feel like a failure, you will feel not good enough, because this is what your core vibration is at this point in terms of self-esteem. So that's one aspect, the vibrational aspect of it. And the second thing is just really understanding that life is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about just accepting it as an opportunity to grow and learn, and appreciating everything, all the gifts that we are born with, and all the blessings that we receive throughout life. And just really realizing that the old-fashioned concept of constantly the overachieving type of attitude to life is just part of this human rat race that well, unfortunately, we as humans have created on this planet. And it's just one of those things that is slowly now being exposed, and more people get to the conclusion that this is not the best way to live our lives. Luckily, so many people now understand. When I look at younger generations now, even for like my own children, I can see that in their mentality, it's not just about pushing and striving for perfection. It's they pay so much more attention to doing things that they love. They don't want to engage in, I don't know, jobs or situations which don't make them happy, just purely to prove something, to prove other people that they are good enough. They tune into their inner joy, and they kind of seem to be following their passions more than we used to, generations older than them. Because there's obviously two factors. There's things that we want to do, and also the things that we believe we have to do, because even financially we just have to support ourselves somehow. But this is changing. This is luckily changing. There's so much emphasis these days for people, especially for younger generations, to do the things they love. So being hard on yourself is about understanding that there's nothing that you need to prove to anything. The only thing we need to focus on is to just to really tune into our heart and listen to it, and ask the questions: what makes me happy? What truly would I like to do in life that would bring me joy and passion? Because these things are the main things that lead us to the best outcomes, to the best success. Because the things that we do out of joy from our hearts are the things that we are led to do by our soul, our higher self. Because the soul came here with an intention of enjoyment, of experience, fun. It didn't come here to be constantly feel like a failure, or just constantly. Yes, some of the lessons may be part of it, but that's why, as we awaken spiritually, we realize that this is the wrong approach, and this is something that needs to be changed. We should never think that certain experiences that happened to us in life were a waste of time, or we made some sort of mistakes. This is a big one. So many people have this concept that they keep regretting things in the past. But we have to understand that every single decision we ever made in life in the past was made with the level of consciousness and awareness and knowledge that was available to us at that time. We always try to make decision with the best intentions, we believe that that decision is going to be the best outcome for us. And then if we then later on in the future realize that perhaps this was not the best decision, perhaps if I decided to do something else, maybe this would have been a better outcome. Because situations like this happen, it doesn't mean that the decision fundamentally was wrong. It just means that at that point we didn't have that wisdom. We didn't know of the consequences of that decision in the future. So we always base our decisions on what we currently know at that moment when we make that decision. So it's all to do with our awareness, our wisdom, our information available, the information available to us at this point, and beating yourself up about some sort of decisions in the past based on what, understanding what happened in the future is it's a complete nonsense, because it's and very often those decisions, the way we made them, it was just part of our growth. We should never regret things in the past. All the best thing that we can do is just take them as wisdom, take them as lessons, because that's how we grow. Even if we really seriously believe that this wasn't the right decision and we did some silly stuff, by realizing it later on, we will never make the same mistake again. So that's how it works. And like, even when we look at children, why do we have so much compassion and understanding for children when we know that they learn because they are still young and that they have the permission to make the mistakes? Why do we deprive ourselves of that permission when we get older? Why do we believe that just being an adult means that we have to always be perfect and never make mistakes, and if we do, then there's something wrong with us, or I don't know, we are immature or something like this? We have to understand that life is evolving all the time, it's unfolding for us all the time, and we are always facing some sort of new situations, something that we haven't come across before. So we usually don't have the tools and the experience to deal with certain situations, and the only way for us to learn is through allowing ourselves to make mistakes. Like I said, we always make the decisions with the best intention, but if something, I don't know, if the decision is wrong in a way, I don't know, I don't even believe in wrong decisions, but if we then believe that, oh, I should have done differently, then it's just a lesson, and then you're never going to do the same thing again. You will just say, oh, come on, that was a little bit silly. No, okay, in the future, I will know what to do. That's all it is. So that's what I say, we are just so hard on ourselves. We are understanding that children can make mistakes and young people can make mistakes, but as we get older, we suddenly believe that there is no room for mistakes, and yeah, but there is. We learn throughout the whole life, and we should always understand that learning is a beautiful process, and we should always appreciate the things that we have learned. We should always pay attention to the wisdom that we gain from those situations, from every situation in life. So being hard on yourself is a really, really bad idea, especially when we try to heal. And this is the thing that I would like to help people pay attention to, because that's something that, achieving and overachieving and all of this pushing and trying to prove yourself, there's nothing we need to prove ourselves. All we need to do is just to flow with life and just understand that really the main thing in life is to enjoy this lifetime, is to find things that bring us passion, is to focus on good things in life and not keep going back and thinking, oh, I've done this wrong and I've done that wrong, and just completely like making the present moment, it's like the past is killing the present moment. So we should never do that, but unfortunately so many people still do. So pay attention to that if this is still your way of thinking. And another thing that I definitely did during my healing was self-love. That's a very big one. It's kind of linked to the one that I just spoke about. And the self-love is to do with forgiving yourself for the mistakes that you made in the past, with the understanding that I just explained. And really understanding that there is this common denominator for people when they try to heal from an illness, or well, really when they want to change their life. But illness is something that has so much to do with self-love, and this was a big one for me as well. And I was given this information in a very powerful way, something that I will talk about in a separate video, how this happened, how I was given the guidance about that I need to love myself and forgive myself. But the self-love was a big one. So yeah, forgiving yourself for everything that you think you failed, and you think you have done some sort of even harm to other people. It was all just part of the experience. It really was. And dwelling on it and really regretting things makes no sense. We can't change the past anyway. And the best use that we can make of all those things that happened to us in the past, including things that we believe we've done wrong, is just learning and understanding that it was just part of the lesson. There's also things that for me I had to kind of release during this process, or the failures that I thought, like for example, I was very cross with myself for years and years, and feeling like it really hurt me that I was the only person who didn't complete the master's degree when I was at the university. I did my bachelor's degree, but then I at the very last moment with my master's degree, I was the only one who didn't because of my situation, family situation, the divorce. And I always was so hard on myself about this, that why did I not complete this? Why did I leave it? I should have done it later when I was feeling, I don't know, somehow better mentally. And then I just realized it doesn't really make any difference now. For example, generally titles don't make any difference. These are just like, again, part of this really um, social concept that we need to have titles, we need to have qualifications, we need to have papers just to show and have more labels how good we are. It doesn't really matter. My life then showed me that I never really needed that paper. I didn't need it. I didn't need that because I was supposed to do something different. So yeah, it's about letting go and understanding that sometimes we choose things for ourselves that are not meant for us, and if they didn't work out, it's because we didn't need them, and there's no point beating yourself up about it. And the next thing that yeah, forgiving others, that was a big one, yeah. But that's the one that I've been speaking on about on the Zoom calls. Whatever happened, whatever trauma, whatever pain was caused by other people to us, from what I know and everything I have learned so far in terms of spirituality, we plan those lessons with other people. It's like there's a group of us up there planning this lifetime, and we agree, they call it soul contracts, or we don't have to call it in any way, we just agree to play certain roles. And sometimes people do horrible things to us because they are meant to give us some sort of understanding about something, or they are supposed to push us to love ourselves despite any harm, any trauma that we may have experienced. So yeah, sometimes we had some unfinished business with somebody in previous life, and we are now playing out kind of similar or reversed roles, where we are trying to show another person. So when we hurt somebody, for example, it's sometimes it could be that we got hurt by them in the previous life, and now we are reversing the roles, showing them how it feels so that they can learn and not do it again. So there are so many different scenarios about why these things happen. There's so many things that we don't fully understand, but they do have a meaning when we look at them from the soul's perspective, and they completely change the understanding. So that's why holding grudges and really being unable to forgive people for what they've done to us, yes, from this human perspective it can be difficult, but that's why we have to raise our level of consciousness to be able to understand it. From the human perspective, suffering and pain and illness and everything else doesn't make much sense anyway. But that's why we have to raise our awareness and look at it from a higher perspective. That's the only way we can understand. That's the only way we can solve this problem. It's like Einstein said, we can't solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. So if we just keep being stuck in this human perspective, or why did this person do to me, what happened, and all that stuff, all this just really no understanding about why these experiences happen to us, we will never understand them. We truly will never understand them, because only when we go into the understanding from the soul's perspective, from like, why did it happen? So perhaps there was a reason. There is always a reason why this happened, and it's for us to go through experiences and learn and move on. It's for us to liberate ourselves from the victim mentality. It's for us to love ourselves the way we should, because obviously those experiences can cause issues with self-love, because if other people didn't treat us right, then this can affect the way we love ourselves. But these situations are supposed to be triggers for us to embrace higher understanding of things, and like I said, going higher into the spiritual perspective of things, not just looking at problems and the situations in our life from this 3D perspective, which can be very difficult. That's why just zooming out and just looking at this from a higher perspective, and taking everything as a lesson, as an opportunity to experience new things. Some things may simply not make any sense. Why did they happen to us? But I personally believe that the universe is organized and orchestrated in such a unique, perfect way that everything, every event, every situation has a ripple effect on others, on the rest of the universe, and that's why all those experiences have to take place for the balance to be maintained, and for the continuous growth of soul's consciousness. So these are the things that I definitely remember that I was shown during my 3-day healing experience with my when I received the guidance, and that's why I wanted to share these things with you. I hope these will help, because a lot of people have the same problem with self-esteem, lack of self-love, being too hard on themselves, and I see this in so many of people I work with. These are the common themes, and these are the things that we just need to realize, process, release, cry out. This is what happened to me during this the 3-day period of meditation. I cried a lot. I released all of that. I released all of this victim mentality. I no longer wanted to be a victim, because this really doesn't serve. If you want to believe that, oh, why, if I was to cry forever, well, all of the things that happened in my life, that I had to leave my country and start a new life, and left my career, my dream job in Poland, and that's because of my husband, who decided to be with somebody else. If I didn't get to the understanding that this was all just part of who I was supposed to become, that the fact that he did that, I was able to move to a different country, and really because of this, yes, for the first maybe 12 years I was doing the kind of job that I wasn't too passionate about. I was working in administration. It was never the type of thing that I wanted to do. But eventually my soul showed me the way. It got me sick so that I would eventually find my way. But there's so many beautiful things that happened as a result of the divorce. Like the fact that I moved to the UK, and my children have a much better chance in life in terms of they had much easier, maybe not better, but easier education. They didn't go through so much stress as I did in Poland. The fact that they speak fluent English, and they can work everywhere, travel, and they have wonderful opportunities as British citizens. The fact that my son now is a student at Cambridge University, which I never thought this would be possible for for him, because he didn't go to a private school, he didn't have private tutors, and he just managed to achieve that. So it was all part of my soul's, I don't know, plan for me and my family. That's why we should never go back and regret and keep beating ourselves up, because we should also trust our higher self that is leading us to something better. But it's only when we trust and we appreciate things that happen, even if it's as a result of some difficult situations. We always have to trust. It's like in this saying, I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese saying, that if something bad happens, they say, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to judge it. It can be a blessing. And in many cases, the difficult situations turn out to be blessings. And definitely my illness was a major blessing for me, even though it felt absolutely not like a blessing for 10 years. But I just kept believing, and I found a way. And I know everybody can find a way. This is one of the most common denominators for people who go through healing. Like when you listen to testimonials on Joe Dispenza's website, the self-love is a massive thing. It's a big thing. And forgiveness, these are the big themes. And stop being this perfectionist and trying to prove things to ourselves and to others. These are the main themes. There's obviously other things, but these are big things. So if you could look at yourself from this perspective, the self-love, the self-acceptance, and the way you perceive yourself, the way you being hard on yourself and your self-esteem, and the way you look at yourself and your whole life, how much regret you may be holding, how much I don't know, hate or anger you may be holding towards other people. These are the things which are still there within your body as this stuck energy, which is not indifferent to your physical or emotional health. That's why the release is so important. And when I see people, when I speak to some of my clients, and I can tell that they are still so closed up, they have not opened their hearts, and they, for example, say that they don't cry during meditations, or generally they find crying difficult. This is one of the big things that stops people from healing. If you can't make yourself cry and release all the pain, all the trauma, all the I don't know, sadness that's still within you, even the sadness and the I don't know, fear and pain linked to the illness, that's also a big one. But just the stuff, just looking back in your life and just think, what is it that may be making me sick? What are the emotions that make me sick? Am I feeling still angry towards somebody or myself? Am I feeling like I can't forgive? Do I regret things from the past? Do I feel like I haven't achieved the things that I wanted to achieve, so I feel like a failure? But really, it's just about understanding that this whole failure thing is just a social concept. We should really detach from it, and we should just look at ourselves as no matter how late in life this progress or something comes in, as soon as you wake up to the truth that you are perfection, you came here as perfect, and just the people and the circumstances around you showed you different, but we're just going back to the perfection of who we are. That's all it is. And this is what happens during spiritual awakening. We are supposed to go back to the divine perfection that we are, and then using this awareness, connecting with the source consciousness that's within us, we are able to heal, we are able to forgive, we are able to start loving ourselves. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for this video. I probably will be sharing more in the next one to do with the emotions and things that I was shown to look into during my healing. I hope this helps, and I would like you to just really try and let yourself open that heart during those meditations, and think about releasing those painful emotions that may be still stuck in those lower centers, and the sort of shame and guilt and Yeah, guilt is a big one. I'm going to talk about guilt in the next video. But shame, guilt, anger, frustration, you know, lack of forgiveness, feeling like a victim, all of these are there in the lower chakras, and that's why the breath really helps. But also just thinking about it, where do I still need to work on in terms of like releasing this pain from my body, because it's causing incoherence in the body. It's low vibration that's bringing your overall vibration down, and it's causing incoherence in the body, and that's why the body starts developing symptoms. That's why it's so important to release things that you know are holding you into the lower vibrations.